Welcome to another video. Because we're in the month of February and this is the season for Valentine's Day, this is a special month for me because I don't only enjoy celebrating Valentine's, but it's also our anniversary with my husband and I. So I wanted to share with you a little fun project that I've been working on the last few days. I decided to treat myself to a little self-love basket. If this is something that you want to do for your loved one, for your Valentine, this can work just as good. But I'm going to be showing you here how I've done it for myself, because I'm still growing and learning in self-love, self-worth, and I've spent a lot of my life taking care of everyone else and putting myself last. So this is just helping me to take a little bit more time and prioritize my own well-being and self-care. So if you're in this season of your life where you need to prioritize you a little bit, then this might be a video for you. And I'm just going to share a few little ideas, very simple ways that you can treat yourself this month. So I got a basket and I went around my house and I gathered a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of supplies that I thought could fit in nicely to this project. I didn't go and purchase anything because I wanted to see if there was things that I already had at home. I know how much we all like the new, beautiful, attractive things, but it's even more of a playful challenge to me when I can create something with what I already have. You have to get even more creative. I will show you a few little things that I found around my house and how I'm going to use them for my basket here. This is just some pink wrapping paper that I was going to throw out, and I was like, why not keep it for this last project? It can have a second life, and then I can always add it to somebody else's gift. I love including a pretty little piece like this to the bottom of the basket because it's a little bit worn and used, and this makes it look beautiful. So I'll show you here some of the things that I've collected, and then I'm going to share how I use them. I went around and found any beautiful candles. This is one that my daughter made. I found a little vase and some little dried flowers. I found a pretty little box. It's got a little bit of red, so I'm including it here. I think I went around and looked for things that were red or pink or heart-shaped or beautiful and attractive to me for this season. I have some little hearts and flowers, tiny little roses if you can see them. And then these are just some little cloth hearts. I've used these before to decorate cakes and stuff, but I'm going to get creative, see how I can use them here. This is just a piece of red veil. I don't know yet what I'm going to use it for. I have this mug. It says love you and it's full of hearts, so definitely something to include in here. A little box that used to hold candies, and I put a pretty ribbon. I made a little cover and a little back. Here's a heart-shaped picture frame. A little heart, cloth heart to hang. A red envelope. A little mirror. Says, follow your heart. That's why I'm including it here. A little box used to hold jewelry. Here's a little card set. It says 52 ways to celebrate friendship. So I'm going to see how I can use these. Maybe I'm going to pick a few out and see how I can use them to celebrate love. I had a set of beautiful books. I'm going to see if I can use one of these for something. I can't forget some chocolates. I have this super cute little paper bag. Some stickers. I have these little cards that I made for my daughter, and they all have little rhymes related to self-love and beauty, some kindness affirmations, So I made these for my daughter, but I think I could use a little handful of these as well once in a while. I think this is everything that I've gathered from around my home. So I'm going to share with you how I intend to use these for my little Valentine's basket. So here's my first little project, and I've used this little container. I'm going to eventually make a pretty cover for it. Anyway, I filled it up with all these little hearts that I had. I think there are lots of ways that you could use this, but the way that I'm going to use it this time around, I'm going to help myself make a habit of giving myself some loving and kind compliments instead of harsh and judgmental criticizing words. So this is an area that I want to work on this month. And so every time that I think of something negative, and the first thing that comes to mind is negative. One example is if I look at myself in the mirror and I don't like what I see, I just automatically think, oh no, I look so old and all my wrinkles. And when I think that, I'm going to intentionally replace that with, oh, and yes, look at your wrinkles, how lovely they look, and how they show all the times that you've smiled. And every time I replace something negative with something positive, I'm going to place a heart in the jar. And little by little, I'm going to see how I do with filling up this jar. That's why I like to have something see-through. I will just keep this on my desk. And anytime that I find myself, I catch myself saying something negative or even thinking something negative about myself, and I change it to something loving, something positive, or giving myself a compliment, I'm going to place a heart inside. And I'm going to see at the end of the day how I do. And hopefully after each day, I'm going to improve. Maybe the first day I'll start with 2, and then it will double and multiply. It's easy for me to give compliments and say nice things to others, but it's harder for me to do it for myself. So I think growing in self-love is not only going to help me be kinder to myself, but I think it will even multiply the love, the joy onto others. Project 2 is gathering a few little objects that aren't very useful, but just beautiful and pretty, and I'm going to beautify my space with it. So these little roses, this just makes me think of Valentine and love because they're red. There's nothing fancy to them, so I could get myself some fresh ones, and I probably will, or maybe I'll let my husband get me some. But for right now, I thought this is just a super simple little gesture to myself, and I can put this on my desk as I do my little reading and journaling every morning. So this was a challenge to myself. I'm not going to buy anything. I just wanted to see what I had from home just to simplify. And also this beautiful candle. I haven't used it yet because it was a loving gift from my daughter. It was for my birthday, but I think this is the chance, this is the time to treat myself to this beautiful candle. And I think it even smells nice. So again, I'm going to place this on my desk. And last but not least, a little picture frame. So I chose it because it's a heart shape and it's got the love of my life. So I think any little visualization to help me remember that I am loved because my husband loves me so much is going to help me feel more loved. And this will be my special little love-filled Valentine decor for my space. I also have this little heart. Actually, I have a few of them that I like to just put around my kitchen. Again, giving a little touch of love and Valentine. You find what you have, you go around searching, you can do a little treasure hunt around your house and just pick out those things that call out to you, that just spell love for you. So this little project is a little mix of both feeding myself with something delicious and yummy and also feeding my soul. I have this beautiful mug, and what better time to use it than for Valentine's, filled with little hearts. And I picked out my favorite tea, also in a little heart shape. And this is just a little reminder that I can enjoy my favorites without feeling guilty. This is the month to treat ourselves a little. So it's not too indulgent, it's not too fancy, it's not too grand, but it shows that I care. I'm going to enjoy this cup of tea alongside a piece of chocolate because dark chocolate is my favorite, and I don't feel bad eating it either because it's kind of healthy. There's lots of benefits to eating dark chocolate, minus all the sugar. And while I enjoy this little snack and tea, I'm going to also enjoy some of these cards, which I actually made for my daughter when she was a preteen. So these are all little cards to color, but I love them and they actually do me a lot of good too. So maybe I'll take a little coloring time and remind myself of these little notes, little affirmations on love. So this was my little project to fill up on something delicious and fill up on something sweet for my body and for my soul. So this next little project, I'm going to choose one of these little notebooks. I always have a little stash of notebooks ready for little occasions like this. It's always a treat for myself. And when I find beautiful books, I cannot pass them by. So this is an occasion to love myself back with a beautiful little book. So I'm going to choose one. I have one that says happiness, lovely, and dream. I'm going to choose the lovely one. I think it's the most fitting to Valentine. And then I have some little stickers actually that I've had for a long time. And I think I'm going to pick out some hearts that say love. So there's plenty of that in here. And this is a way just to decorate my book. Let me see what it's like inside. It's really cute. So with this notebook, I'm going to write myself a little note, a little love note every day. I can write the date, so I can start the month of February, and I'm going to try to do this every day. It's going to be my little challenge because this is part of learning to care for myself, learning to treat myself. I'm going to make this a priority. Maybe first thing in the morning, I'll write myself a little letter related to what's happening in the day or related to something that I'm going through, something that's happening in my life. It doesn't have to be big and grand. That's why I picked a little notebook. I don't have to write a whole bunch. For this little project, I have my notebook, I have my little sticker books, and I have this beautiful box that somebody gave me. And I made myself some little phrases. So, in case you're not so used to writing yourself little notes, I've been starting to write notes to self recently. So, I've gotten a little bit of the hang of it, but it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to write myself love notes. And so, to help me with that, I made myself some little prompts to get me started. I think that's the biggest challenge. Once I get started with the first phrase, I don't usually have a problem with it. So I want to encourage you. I'm going to share these with you as well in my next newsletter. So be sure to sign up if you would like to receive this. And I'm just cutting them out and I'm going to place them in my little box. Let's see how they fit. Oh, they fit perfectly. You can feel free to use a little cloth bag instead if that's all you have, or maybe even a little jar. And I made the cards especially the right size so that they can fit into this box. I just thought it was so beautiful and fitting for Valentine's. I might even turn them around. That way I can be surprised when I pick one out. So every day I'm going to write the date and I'm going to just choose a little title. And then I'm going to pick out a card. So if I know already what I want to write, I can just write it. If I need a little prompt, then this can help get me started. I forgive myself for. So you can start your letter with that, or you can even include it somewhere on your page. You can even pick more than one. I'm loved because. So I might use those two to inspire me as I write this letter. And if not, just listen to your heart, what it wants to tell you. Actually, before I do that, I think I'm going to decorate my page a little bit. So I'm going to choose one or two little stickers. I think that's the fun of it. It's also the creative side of things, and I have to add something beautiful to my page. So you can always do this in advance, or you can do it after you write. I love to have little space for doodles as well. So the more stickers you put, the less you have to write. These are beautiful. They're so shiny. I'm going to start with I'm loved because. I just take a moment to reflect on something that I'm going through, something that I'm feeling in my body or in my mind, something that I'm thinking about. And now I'm going to use this little prompt for writing and telling myself something. So that just gives you a little example. And maybe next year I will be happy to go back to this and see what I wrote myself, what I told myself that time, that moment, that season of life. I like to also decorate my book in some way, especially if it's related to love. So I have this red tape, and I'm going to, these hearts are giving me an idea. I'm just going to add some little hearts. And there we have it. Or you could even add some stickers if you wanted to. And the ones that I've used up, I might just place them underneath for the next time around. There's nothing like giving yourself some inner wisdom with your words of love and care. I love to call this one rock solid reminders because we're going to use rocks. So this is another fun little project, something that I had at home already. I found a beautiful jar and I'm going to fill this jar with some beautiful rocks. But first, I'm going to paint them, or I'm going to draw over them. And then I'm going to write down on the other side of the rock something that makes me feel loved, just again to make it a little bit more meaningful to this time and season. So I have my little collection of rocks that I've been collecting for a while. Maybe choose some that might be a nice shape or size, dusting them a little bit. So these are quite big. I don't know if they're the great ones for hearts. I'm going to make them all kind of similar. I think these are good to get started with. And of course, if you don't have rocks, you can always use little cards. You can also cut them out from paper. I like rocks because it reminds me of rock solid, something that stands strong, that stands firm. Also, it's just a fun project to use your creativity and to use my material, to use my markers. I'm going to just start by drawing it with pencil, just drawing the shape of a heart. Somehow, somewhere on the rock. They're all going to be a little bit different. That's where the fun comes in, but they'll all have a heart on them. Nothing says you have to make it even or totally straight. I love the uneven look. Shows that it's more hand-drawn. I think I'm going to limit the colors that I use as well. That way they'll all fit nicely together, blend nicely together. So this is not only a fun art project, but it really makes me think about those things that make me feel loved. And my goal in this is that I'll place them in the jar and I'll be reminded of them. A jar would be nice as a decoration maybe, and I think I'd like to use it to maybe put all the hearts on a little plate, and I can even put a little candle in between. That way it will be useful as well. So let's see what happens. If you don't have markers, you can just use paint. Of course, paint is a little harder to get it just right and that detailed. What I like about these markers is there's a thick side and a thin side. and then sign. So you can do it however many you want. And then once they're dry, I think I'm going to write down with a black marker or with a white marker something that makes me feel loved. And that way I can always come back to these, remind myself of these. Or if you prefer, you could also write yourself a little love affirmation. And then using the little mirror, because I'm trying to use up everything that I had in my basket, use the mirror to tell myself those loving affirmations. So collecting these little items, I'm going to get creative and see how I can put them together. These are the few that are left. So here's a beautiful little bag and a cute little box. And these are some cards, 52 ways to celebrate friendship. So I'm going to look through them, read through them, and see which ones I can relate to myself. Here are the ones I'm going to treat myself to, and this little bag is some that I would like to treat my friends or family or loved ones to. So this gives you a little idea of something that you could do. You might even like to look online for some ideas. Something I like to do with my friends every month is have a little creative afternoon. We think of a creative project, and that's one example of something that you can do. You know what you and your friends like, enjoy. Maybe you love baking and cooking, and you invite your friends over for a little cooking time, baking time. You each bring a recipe and some ingredients, and you bake together. You make something out of heart shapes. You somehow relate it to love and friendship or romance if you're doing it with your loved one. So these look so fun. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun just reading over these. I'm not going to go through them right now. It's going to take me a little while because the title doesn't always explain what it is. Some of them give it away. Friendship at a distance. Treat yourself to something. Look around your home, something that gives you an idea of something to do with a friend, with a loved one. So I think this activity, this project is more like sharing the fun, sharing the love with someone else, and also finding the balance between doing something for you, doing something with your loved one, maybe your family, your kids, and your friends. Because I think everybody can benefit from you showing some extra love, showering yourself with love to start with, and then it just seems to overflow onto others. So that's what I love about this little project. It's bringing everybody else into this love experience. So I hope you try this out. I hope you enjoy all of these projects, or maybe one or two that you feel would suit you best. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now, and most of all, treat yourself to something lovely and beautiful.